let's talk about the upward trajectory of Tyla now with the editor-in-chief at SlikourOnLife and music writer Sabelo Mkhabela. Sabelo, a very good morning and thank you so much for joining us.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
I mean, let's talk about the success that Tyla has seen. And one can say that it was a surprise and actually very quick. I mean, what would you credit that to, that she broke out in a year or two, and then the next thing she's nominated for a Grammy, she's a world sensation, and she's already winning a Grammy?
Yeah, I think her trajectory is quite unprecedented. We can credit it to a lot of things, social media, TikTok, songs take off very quicker than they used to back in the days. But I think the story of Tyla, it's a matter of opportunity meeting preparation, because, if you look back, you see that she has been on the grind. She was just singing on TikTok, on social media, and Water is not even her first big song, because she had Getting Late and a few other songs prior to that. So I would say then because what she says is that the deals started flocking in when she released was the single Getting Late. It had a really dope video, which is showing her that she's like a pop star. She's talented, she's pretty charismatic, everything. She's like the full package. So when the deal with Epic Records came, it found her prepared, and I would say her team should give like a master class to most of the labels, especially in this country, just to be, this is what you do for an artist. They've done, I think what they've done hasn't been done at this scale in a very, very long time, if ever even. So, yeah, it's a lot of things.
I mean, I want to touch on the social media aspect that you mentioned, Sabelo, which has really changed how we consume music, videos. I mean, you have a Janet Jackson that is dancing to a Jerusalem song. You have, would you say that has sort of shortened the distance between us as a country at the southern tip of the world to everybody else, that we are able to get the music consumed the world over, as it were?
It definitely has. Like, I mean, Tyla is a social media baby. When she opened her eyes, there was already social media. So yeah, especially, it wasn't just TikTok, because I mean, I would say Jerusalem was before, I could be wrong, but I don't think it was necessarily TikTok. It was just social media, so it's social media, but I think TikTok is almost like the platform for artists right now. Like, we haven't really seen a platform that does what TikTok does for music, with the challenges and just how, with the whole approach and how you can attach the songs to the videos. It's a game changer. So definitely social media has made the world, I would say, it's like a global village. It's like we're living almost in the same, it's like the same virtual community. It doesn't matter much where you are. If you're doing something that is captivating, it will find its audience on all corners of the world, really. Purists,
though, are saying that, well, maybe it takes away from just the creation of beautiful music, of real music, in that the focus now is on the dances, on the challenges that push that. What would you say to that sentiment? Or has the world moved on and this is what we have to deal with?
I mean, I really think everything has its negatives. It does, back then, when you didn't have social media, you couldn't take off as quickly as you could today. That was a disadvantage back then. So in terms of like the music, I'm not really sure if it really has. Not every artist is creating music for for challenges. You still have artists who don't necessarily do that. And sometimes, even if a song is not created with a challenge in mind, it takes off. Like there's this song called Surround Sound. That was just like a hardcore rap song. I don't think JD had TikTok in mind when he was creating it, but people found it catchy and they started making a challenge to it. But, you know, I'll give you an example with Kwaito, for example. Like Azamafokate, I would say almost every album that he dropped, it came with a dance, you know. So I never heard anybody complaining, Guti, why are you always making music for dances or with dances? That was a strategy, and maybe, you know, men had seen the future, and what is happening right now, it's just at a larger scale and a different time, you know, with different technologies. You know, back then it was TV, now it's TikTok. Everybody's broadcasting themselves. So, but the answer is yes and no, and that's really how it's supposed to be. Everything has advantages and everything has disadvantages. And, you know, this chat, it's had by people like you and I, you know, who've seen the world before the social media. But somebody growing up, they don't know the world, you know, the music industry without the technologies that we have. It's like, you know, I'm sure maybe even that's what happened when platforms like MTV came. It was like, oh, MTV killed the radio star, and the internet killed their music video star. That's just how life is supposed to work. We're always moving on to new technologies.
Now, how does Tyla then harness this success and keep it going? She's 22. She's still a baby, both musically and otherwise. How does she,
you know,
and
good
her team?
Question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think that's what separates, you know, icons and popular musicians. You know, I would even say it's easy to have one hit, but, you know, it's hard enough to have one hit, but it's even harder to maintain that standard. There really is no formula to what she can do from now on. You know, I was just looking at social media, people being like, this album, listening to this album, I'm not sure what her second album is going to sound like. You know, she can't give us the same thing that she gave us before. Maybe she should study like pop stars like Beyonce. You know, I think for me, what I like about Beyonce is that she'll never really give you the same album twice. You know, but she also just has a huge fan base that allows her to experiment with other genres, other sounds. But a lot of the musicians who've had longevity, that's what they've done. You know, in South Africa, you look at a guy like AKA, may soul rest in peace. When he came out, you know, it was just like a straight rap guy, and then he started, you know, messing around with the dance samples, and, you know, he was like, nah, I'm not gonna rap that much, I'm gonna sing. And, you know, his last hit, there was like a bit of piano in it, but it was still like his own sound. So I think it's a delicate balance that artists need to strike of playing around with different sounds, but also just not losing your fans. We've seen other people, like, really, it's like they change completely. It's like a totally different artist, but they didn't maintain that essence that made them who they were. So I would say Tyla, she just has to find a way of maintaining her essence, but moving on to like other styles of music, production, singing. That's really the formula for artists who've had like long careers.
Sabelo Mkhabela, thank you so much for coming through to speak to us as we continue celebrating Tyla, who is scheduled to return to South Africa, and we are told that her flight was reportedly supposed to land at 11, but it has since moved to 1 o'clock.